Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen and I film everything you could possibly imagine and want in the entire world right here on this very YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be spilling the tea. I'm going to be giving you guys...
What was that?
That was weird. I think like a bird ran into my window, but I can't really see because I closed the blinds. Today I'm going to be spilling the tea, talking about something that I think nobody has ever done. This is for all of you incoming freshmen that are like, hey Kathleen, I'm going to UB next year. Where do I live? Like, what's the tea? Like, what's the good spots? Like, what's so bad about it? Like, what's the difference? And I'm gonna lay it all out just for you. I got you. For those of you that don't know, UB has two different campuses. There's North Campus and there's South Campus. And there were two different residence halls on South Campus. For COVID, one of them got shut down, used for quarantine housing, then there was just one. However, as of right now, there's only two dorms on North Campus. We have Ellicott and we have Governors. So I'm not going to be speaking about South Campus. I've never lived there, so I know nothing about it. And it's gonna be fixed up and completely different for future students at UB. So do keep that in mind. So I'm gonna start off with Governors. So Governors has four halls. There's Clinton Hall, Dewey Hall, Roosevelt Hall, and Lehman Hall.
Shout out Dewey because I lived in Dewey my freshman year.
Since it's a lot smaller than Ellicott, all of the halls are equal distance to campus, equal distance to the bus stop, which is actually pretty convenient. The next pro that I'm gonna say is that Governors is actually an all freshman dorm building. And this could be a con to you, but Governors is only for freshmen, so everyone that you're gonna run into in there is gonna be a freshman going through the same experiences that as you navigating UB. It's like a little family, like all bonding together, because Ellicott is mixed. It has a mixture of like freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and even seniors, but Governors is only for freshmen. So the next pro that I have, which I'm not too sure about, I don't think Ellicott has it, but Governors, if they do, it's like much less, but Governors has honors housing. So if you are an honor student, you get to live amongst other honor students. You have people that you can relate to who are taking some of the same classes as you, all in the same exact dorm building in Govs. There's also like engineering housing. I don't know exactly how that works, but we're all engineers live in one hallway. It could be a pro or a con to you. You might be like, no thank you, like I'd rather meet other people. I think I have to agree with that. Like I would not want to live with people who are like in the same bubble as me, but it is a thing that exists and it's another part of Govs. And I'm not saying the whole building is like that, but there are certain hallways that are like leadership housing and honors housing. I'm not too sure which one, but the next thing I'm going to say about Governors that's a pro is that Gov's dining center is so much better than C3. C3 is a dining center that's in Ellicott, and C3 is nasty. If you go to C3, Gov's dining center is so fire, and during COVID, Gov's was still giving out like regular plates and like regular cups and stuff. Meanwhile, C3 was giving you these ratchet paper plates. Imagine being done with them, you're like, okay, let me get something else, and your plate is like dirty with like ketchup and like sauce all over it, and you can't even get a new one. Crusty. Guys, the next pro is literally the biggest pro ever, that if I had known this as a freshman, like this probably would have sold me, because this is very, very important to me. The bathrooms in Governors are better than the bathrooms literally anywhere else, like even better than Griner. Like they had recently renovated the bathrooms my freshman year, so 2019. Beautiful lighting, like it's like it was squeaky clean, like it was brand new, and it's so nice. The bathrooms in Ellicott are crusty, like they're dirty. Like no offense to all you Ellicott people, they're dirty, and they know that it's dirty. I think also the laundry rooms were renovated as well. The laundry rooms are pretty nice as well in Governors. The next pro about Govs is that Govs has bigger common areas than Ellicott does. It has these little like corners of the hallways that have like tables and like couches that you're able to like chill at, and then the kitchen is separate, which is something that Ellicott does not have. So that's going to be like a little bit different as well. And then another pro of Governors is that Governors actually has a spot called the Cave. I believe if you go into, what is it, like the late night section and you like exit, that's where the Cave is. It might be on the other side of the dining center, I can't remember, but it's like this cool spot that has like super funky like couches and chairs, and they have like desks for you to do homework. You can connect your computer to like a TV. There's like a foosball table. I think it's is it pool, or there's like a bunch of, it's just like a really cool space, and I think it's like a little hidden gem, because like low-key you have to like find it on your own. Like there's no way to tell like how to get there. And then lastly, my last pro that I have here on my list is that you can actually avoid the cold a lot more from Governors. So as we know, UB has this academic spine. At one end of it is the Commons, which is where Starbucks is, and then you have the Student Union, and all the way at the other end you have NSC, which is the Natural Sciences Complex, and the Math Center, or the Mathematics Building. And you can pretty much get from SU to NSC or the Math Building all just by being inside. And luckily, Governor's is just right across the street from the math building. So once you're inside of there, you don't have to go outside to go all the way to SU. But if you live in Ellicott, you do have to like go outside, either walk or take the bus, because there's no indoor route to get to SU and throughout the academic spine, which is something that you also have to consider. So I think it's pretty cool, especially when it gets really cold. Most of the time when I lived in Govs, I never brought a jacket. I would just bring a sweater and then just like run to NSC, and then like I would be fine the rest of the day until I had to like run right back to my dorm. Now for the cons of Governor's. Governor's is low-key a maze. Of course, when you live there, you learn it, you figure it out, but it can be very confusing. There's like a way for all of the halls to connect from inside, but it's like a lot of circles, and like reading the numbers, like understanding it, and like it definitely is a lot, and those who have not lived in Governor's like cannot navigate their way around. But it can be really confusing. The next con is that every single dorm building, so Ellicott as well, has their own little like supermarket thing, and the one in Govs is called Teddy's, and it's actually smaller than the one in Ellicott. It's I guess they have like different kinds of stuff, but it is smaller, and like it's usually busy, and like sometimes the ice cream flavors run out because there's like not as much stuff there. It's just like harder. Most of my time, I think people would just go to the other one in Ellicott. But it still does have what you need if you need to get like some last minute groceries, and like you can use like dining dollars to swipe there, but it is a little bit smaller than the one in Ellicott. Another con is that the rooms in Governor's are actually a little bit smaller than the ones in Ellicott as well. Just a little bit though. I haven't like sat here and measured it, but obviously there's no triples and stuff, so everything is this exact same standard size, unless you live in one of the corner rooms. I heard those are massive in Governor's. I'm not sure, I didn't live in a corner room, but all the rooms are the same size. In Ellicott, they're a little bit bigger. Another con about Governor's is that there are not many elevators. I think there's only one elevator in Roosevelt. So like when I was moving in, it was really hard. Like there was no way to like get her. It was hard to figure out where the elevator was. You either A, had to like lug yourself up the stairs and like figure out the maze, or you had to wait for the elevator, which took forever. But we had to bring those like cards, so like I had no choice. It was like a long line. It like took forever. So there's a laundry room in every single basement of each hall, and there's no elevator to get to that. I always suggest getting like one of those backpacks, or getting like the ones that you can just lug over your shoulder, but then again, you do have to bring like your detergent, your softener, your like bleach, whatever else you might need to do your laundry, and you're gonna have to lug that down the stairs. So that's like a little bit annoying because Ellicott does have a lot more elevators. And then my last con here is that there are less buses that take you to Govs. I think 9 times out of 10, if you want to go to Govs, you're probably gonna walk, just because Ellicott has this one specific bus that's called the Red Line that goes from Ellicott to SU, back to Ellicott, back to SU. It just goes back and forth because there's a lot more people in Ellicott because it's a much bigger dorm. So there's going to be less buses that are going to take you to Govs. Well, sometimes you do have to wait longer, but then most of the time I ended up like wasting a lot of time sitting at the bus stop when I could have just walked and like been to class already. But I learned that the hard way. Okay, now we're gonna move on to Ellicott. I'm gonna start off with the pros. So my first pro here is that you get to interact with upperclassmen. Now this can be a pro or a con, but if you're like, damn, I don't really want to hang out with just freshmen, like I want to hang out with like upperclassmen, like I want to like diversify my palette, Ellicott's the spot for you. Like you can mingle with whomever. Another pro, like I mentioned before, is that the rooms are slightly bigger, and a lot of people hate on quads and triples, and I mean, yes, because you have to worry about clashing schedules with not only one other person, but like 2 or even 3. However, those rooms are massive. Like you're gonna have a lot of space amongst the other people to like I just like open space in a room, and like you're gonna have that option a lot more in Ellicott. The next pro that I like is that Ellicott has more eating options inside. So they have this thing called the Atrium, and they have like QB's, which is like a pizza spot. They have like a sub place. They have Wrap It Up, which sells like acai bowls and like wraps and like bagels and stuff. And then they have Sizzles, which is like late night. They sell like random things from like mozzarella sticks to like burgers and like a Philly cheesesteak, I don't know, random stuff. And they have the bowl as well, and then they have guac and roll. They have a lot of stuff there, and the best part is that they have perks. So perks is Starbucks. They have a Starbucks in Ellicott. You can pay with your own money, but you can use your dining dollars there or campus cash there, which is nice. They don't have everything that they have at like a normal Starbucks, but it's a pretty great perk, and I always go there. And then I mentioned this before, another pro is going to be the fact that Ellicott has this little grocery store called the Ellie, and the Ellie is a lot bigger than the little old Teddy's that's in Governor's. It has a lot more stuff, and right now too they've upgraded it where you can get a lot of medication there, and like there's just like a lot more things to buy ever since the CVS on campus closed. They're offering a lot of things that CVS would normally hold and that now you can buy in the Ellie, also using your dining dollars. The next pro is that you get actually main lounges. Although Ellicott has smaller common spaces on the floors, they have every single building on the first floor has a main lounge, which has like a TV and like couches and like much more comfortable, like big spots like hanging out. I've had like dance practices there, and it's like a really nice thing because it's so much bigger that there's just like more rooms for you to like hang out with friends instead of just being confined to like little common spaces or like your own room. Another pro is that Ellicott, since it's so big and it has its own bus stop like station there, which is actually in the tunnel, so when it's raining, when it's like snowing, you're protected. You get to like literally leave your room from inside in Ellicott, and then you can like wait for the bus like literally inside or underneath the tunnel, and like the weather is not gonna bother you. So like pretty much like you don't really have to like go outside technically, like just to get off the bus and like walk towards SU, and then from there everything else is indoors. So you do have that, plus you do have the red line bus. The buses do run a little bit more frequently in Ellicott, but some people prefer to walk. That's totally up to you, but that's something that is available. Another pro is that Ellicott does have very nice laundry rooms. There's a lot more washers and dryers in Ellicott, and there's actually elevators to access them. So if you want to, you can bring your rolly little laundry basket and carry everything nice and smoothly down the elevator, because there's so many elevators in Ellicott that it's like way easier to like get around and do stuff. And then another pro that I wanted to mention is just the fact that Ellicott does have other dorm styles available. They have suites, way more suites. They have doubles, triples, quads, value triples, all of that kind of stuff. The biggest con, and I mentioned this before, the bathrooms are disgusting, and I think everyone from Ellicott can definitely agree. They're really, really gross. Yes, they get cleaned, they're communal style, they get cleaned by janitors and stuff like that, but like not with love. Like they're really nasty. The next con is that it can be really confusing. Fun fact, Ellicott was actually built like little puzzle pieces because like it was used like during war to confuse people so they couldn't invade them. So like all of the buildings are like low-key like mismatched, and like it's hard to find sometimes. Like I don't really know my way around Ellicott like through the insides at least, but it doesn't make sense because it's like made to confuse people, so it's like kind of confusing. Another con is that Ellicott does not have their own common spaces on the floors. They have like a kitchen and lounge in one, and it's tiny. Like I would say like if there was more than like, I don't know, if there were more than six people in there, I would feel like uncomfortable and claustrophobic, and I wouldn't want to be in there. And some of them don't have even nice lighting for you to be able to like breathe a little bit, and it's just like I feel like those two spaces should be separate, how they are in Governors, and it's just like too cramped and like too busy all the time in Ellicott. My other con that I have for Ellicott is that C3 sucks. I mentioned this before, but it's just like not my favorite place. It's all you can eat, and the one in Governors is just a lot better. And then lastly, I guess this is an issue in Governors as well, but Ellicott can be really, really hot. It's only hot in Buffalo like the first like 2-3 weeks that you move in here, but definitely bring a fan if you're living in Ellicott, because it's gonna get really hot and you're gonna like be dying, especially if you're in a big room facing the window, or sorry, facing the sun with like a lot of windows. It's gonna get really, really hot in your room. You want to make sure that you have a fan, that way you're not like sweating and dying. And also, even in the winter, they'd be blasting the heat, so you might still need the fan to like not sweat while you're sleeping. Meanwhile, it's like freezing cold outside. So those are kind of my pros and cons of the buildings, but I know everyone all in all has their own experiences. There's pros and cons to like everything, but regardless, don't stay in your room all the time. Like where you're living is like your like safe spot to like relax, like to have your fun, to see your friends, and to just like get ready to go out. I hope you guys are excited to be going to UB. Definitely comment down below if you guys have any questions or you want me to explain something a little bit better. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, or even turn on post notifications to get notified when I post a video. And I will see you beautiful people in my next video.